Hello and welcome to Bunto's Mind Games Forever Hangout. Fantasy leavened with philosophy is docile enough. I'm your host Bunto, and I'm here with a great panel. Acius, Brojo, Lindsay, Lyrics, and Pyong. And what we're talking about is the importance of keeping documentary evidence and taking vitamins to keep your energy up. So first, let's do documentary evidence. Go ahead, Pyong.
Oh, I got to take. Thank you for reminding me. I need to take my vitamin pill here.
Your testosterone supplements.
I keep a bottle of vitamins here right next to my desk. Yeah, no, I think it's very important to maintain a historical record. I think, people treat me like I'm strange when I propose this frequently. But
Right.
if I could, I would take videos of everybody. I would have everybody tell me their story, and I do it for free because I think everybody has a story to tell, and I just think they're interesting, and they're valuable. So yeah, I think it's important to
To
keep those
record
things.
things. To
Yeah,
record the
absolutely.
values. Okay, what do you think of people that put great videos on YouTube and then delete them? Do you
Like
hate
who?
that? Is that like a pet peeve?
What are you talking about?
People
What?
that put actually great videos on YouTube and then 2 weeks later they delete them off.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
That has always been a pet peeve of mine.
Really? Who does
Yeah.
that?
I used to watch this guy named Lone Ranger Law, and he used to have fantastic videos. I mean, he would videotape himself doing prayers and stuff, and they were
Yeah.
so real. And then 2 to 3 weeks later, he'd delete them, and I was like, "My God, that was like the best performance art I've seen all year," and you deleted it.
Oh, well. Hmm.
So yeah, I'm like that. I do love, recording and keeping documentary evidence.
What would make
Who
somebody?
knows? They might have a copy, or maybe they just unlisted the video, put it in private, right?
I asked him. I became like his #1 fan, and I would always like coax him into keeping his videos, but now he would just purposely do that. He'd just delete his stuff.
Did he ever tell you why?
He just said they weren't good enough, and I said, "Are you going to be kidding, man?
Ah,
These are great."
yeah.
Who was
Yeah,
this?
I became. His name
Who,
was Lone Ranger Law. He's still on there, but he's for as much videos as he's put up, he's taken them down.
Huh.
It's just that's my pet peeve, and I told him, "God, man, you break my heart when you do that."
Yeah.
so I guess if you really like it, just make a copy for yourself.
Absolutely, that's what I started doing. Like as soon as I saw his videos hit, I would make a copy. So I got some. But when I didn't do that at the beginning, he did some prayers, and then I was like, "Oh, these are fantastic," and then they're gone. I was like, "Where are those prayers?"
I
What kind of
always
prayers did
remember
you do?
something. I always remember something. I don't know if you guys know Wayman 29.
Tell me.
Okay, because I know Wayman when I first came on here on YouTube, and I always remember something he always said. Specifically when people like would change their beliefs and stuff. He said you should always. He always felt you should keep your videos up. This way you can see your progression.
Yeah,
Of your growth and everything like that. So
most
I mean,
definitely.
though I kept the videos, some I've unlisted because I just didn't want them out there. But they're still saved. You know.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I had a couple of videos I didn't want people to see, so I didn't delete it, but unlisted it.
You ever done a video that you're embarrassed about, Pyong?
Oh, fucking every week.
And then you take it down? I've never.
No,
Well,
no, I kind of have that thing in my head too, where I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and I have to just I can't work on thing forever, a particular video, and you just kind of have to let go at some point, and say, hey, this is never going to be perfect, and I'm just going to put it up there. I don't even know why the fuck I even make these stupid videos, frankly.
well, I mean, it's like a. I don't want to say hobby. What do you say? It's like a craft. It's like an art. It's expression.
Yeah, yeah, it is. That's true. That's true, brother Bunto.
I have two things now. I have one video that I've been sitting on since November of last year.
Hmm.
And I mean, I have two videos. One, and it's not like I've put them out and taken them down, but I'm just sitting on them. And
Hmm.
one I want an illustrator for, and the other one I just have to put together in like a slideshow. But I've just been so lazy. I've been, more preoccupied with doing hangouts and interviews and putting together videos.
Yeah.
So, Acius, are you there?
I am.
What have you been up to?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Oh, yeah? Playing games?
Playing games, doing work.
He says, how come you sound so flippin' different?
Flipping different.
You sound like you're depressed. What's wrong?
Depressed.
Yeah.
How can you...
I'm in the room there with them.
What? I'm depressed. Lindsay, the resident Google Plus
Analyst.
psychoanalyst, yes.
No, I'm hypersensitive and I pick on people's emotions. I'm sorry if I misdiagnosed.
Seriously?
Don't be sad, man. Turn that frown upside down.
Oh, God. Alright.
No, are you depressed?
No, not really.
Your team didn't make the Super Bowl?
My team did. Well, I don't know about the Super Bowl. I don't care about that. But let's see. I'm just a little occupied at the moment. I'm doing more than one thing at once here. Actually,
Multitasking.
so yeah. But any other questions?
Well, so you don't care about the number one TV game in America tomorrow?
No, I don't.
Me neither.
I really don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit either about a super violent game they should ban. Brojo, Lindsay, you concur?
Did you know in Canada our field is bigger than America's field?
Yeah, they don't know how to. It's too big, man. Canadian football. Anyway, Lindsay, are you there?
Yes,
I'll be watching.
Canadian football.
Okay, you have this skill that you can empathize with people from a long distance. You can tell if they're up or down.
Yes, unfortunately.
When did you learn? When did you figure out that you had this skill?
In high school?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it handy?
No, it really sucks.
Why?
Not always. Sorry, my sister's talking to me. My crate.
Well, it could be like, a professional skill, don't you think? Anyone?
She got distracted by her sister.
I'll be
Sorry, I'm
like one of those mentats, right, from Dune.
And yeah, really. Hey, Lindsay, honey.
Yeah, I'm just a bit occupied. I'm talking to my sister, and I'm writing a poem, and I'm talking to you, and...
All right. Did you ever see that movie Dune?
I love the Dune book, and the movie Dune, and Children of Dune.
Well, there you go, Acius. Brojo. Lyrics.
Yes, sir.
Brojo, do you have a wad of cash riding on tomorrow's game?
No, I do not, but I'll be watching the game with a couple of friends,
Okay, why do you still watch the Super Bowl?
It's fun. Look forward to the halftime show and the commercials. That's half the fun right there.
Do you do it religiously?
Religiously, once a year. I don't know if that's too religious, but it's a big deal. It's like a birthday, I guess.
You watch the Super Bowl every time?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's always like a lame game. Very rarely is it a good game.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of big ass dudes in spandex fighting over a ball.
I know. It's the cheerleaders or something.
That too.
So, how about them Patriots? I hear they're really good at football, especially
Yeah,
when
really.
related.
All I remember is Steve Grogan when you think of the Patriots. You remember Steve Grogan, Bro Joe?
No,
You don't?
do
So
not.
when did you
No.
start watching football? Like 10 years ago?
Just restarted watching football a few years ago.
The first football game I ever saw was Steelers versus Dallas, right? Super Bowl 10? That was an awesome Super Bowl.
What number is it now?
It's like 39 now, I believe, or 49, isn't it?
49. 49.
Holy crap.
Yeah. I was just a little kid. The Vikings used to go to the Super Bowl at one time. They never could win it, though.
Mhm.
So you guys are
And you know
really...
what's interesting? Next year you'll have the 50th Super Bowl as well as the 50th anniversary of Star Trek. Look at that.
Oh, maybe they can cross over. No, but I mean, like,
Star Trek halftime.
I remember, like, growing up how important football was, you know, and I just sort of faded away. I think the last football that I really kind of cared about was, like, Troy Aikman and Emmett and Michael, but they were always blowing out the Bills. I think that was, like, probably the last football game I ever paid attention to. Football's a violent game, man. I can watch it until somebody gets hurt and they're just rolling around the ground, and then I have to turn the channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I hate injuries.
Yeah.
You don't like a
So
good
you
car
don't-
wreck?
No.
You know, when you're going by, you're driving by and there's a car wreck and you stop and you look. You don't do that, Bunto?
No, the rubbernecking. I noticed the car wreck and I wonder what the hell happened, but then I just drive by.
I think that's based on like a sense of empathy. Not necessarily wanting to witness someone dying, but just the empathy is like, oh no, I don't want to see someone else hurt. So you want to like see if everything's okay.
Yeah, I guess you could look at it that way. But in like professional sports, they want to like have some sort of what you say, like surreal, heroic motif to it. So when you do see somebody rolling around the ground hurt, like is less than human, I just can't watch it. And plus, football is like, I don't know. Once you've seen a couple of games, I guess you've seen it all, right? It's like totally different than baseball. Baseball is like so strategic, but football is just like when all else fails, just go for the knees.
Cool. No, I mean football to me has always been a game of deception, kind of. That's what it's all about. You trick them. Not only like a running play or something like a handoff, but that is a part of it. But you threaten the ground, or you threaten the ground game, and then you pass, or you do vice versa, and try to deceive the other team. So
like the trick plays. I used to like the trick plays, like the Statue of Liberty, and then
Oh, really? What's the Statue of Liberty?
You ever seen that? Okay, it's like either the quarterback goes in a shotgun, he's under center, and he goes backwards. He looks like he's going to pass, and he has the ball up, and then somebody runs from behind him and picks up the ball.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And then that guy can pass the ball. Yeah, the Statue of Liberty. Flea Flicker, remember that one? That's a good one.
Yep. Yeah, I played football in high school, and we had a second string quarterback who was also he could play, like a running back position.
Right.
And they'd put him in, and they'd kick the ball over to him, and then he'd pass it. It was great. That was a great play for us, actually.
Yeah, all the sort of trick plays, man.
Yeah.
I guess Lindsay, she's doing her poem. Women really don't know a lot about football. So I used to remember when a trick play used to go down, the girl always used to ask me, "Can they do that?" And I'd have to explain the shit to them,
Mm-hmm.
Like your mother was sitting next to you, and then can they do that? Yeah, they can do it. Shit. Used to line up all the guys to the left of center. I love college football that way because used to run a lot of trick plays. But actually, I haven't seen football in years, so I don't know if they do trick plays anymore. Fake punt.
Oh yeah.
Let me see. I guess you guys aren't like real sports enthusiasts. Let me see. Besides doing the obvious on Super Bowl Sunday, what else do you do besides just eat, right? Fill your face with food.
Yep. Have some beers.
Beers, chips, dip.
Beers, barbecue, and bowls.
Barbecue, peanuts, popcorn.
Yeah, sounds pretty good.
What else, bro, Joe?
have our own Super Bowls going while the Super Bowl's on.
Right. Got some good dope. Um,
Did you
Okay.
say Super Bowl? That's pretty funny.
Having one now.
Mexican there. Okay, what do you do? Lyrics? You just watch the Super Bowl, or you just eat,
I don't watch the Super Bowl, man. I got kids. We watch
right?
SpongeBob.
So you watch the SpongeBob movie?
No, SpongeBob, or maybe Dora. We've been in a Dora week. This week's been Dora. Dora the
Okay.
Explorer. You know.
So
I just finished watching Taken 3 with my wife.
Oh, how was that? I heard it was not very good.
No, I didn't like it.
Okay.
Wasn't definitely not as good as 1. The order they came out, that's the order that is as far as they're good.
okay,
I
who's the actor in Taken 3, just for the audience?
Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
Liam
Liam.
Neeson, yeah.
Is that the guy that was the villain in Batman?
Yeah, first one.
Yeah.
He had a tragic accident. His wife died in a skiing accident, and he's just been working himself. I mean, he hardly's taken a break since his wife died.
Yeah, isn't that terrible?
Natasha Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's just working himself.
It's better than falling. You know.
Yeah, but sometimes you wonder, it's like, maybe you should have a little mourning in there. Just my own take. Instead of just constantly working movies.
Well, everybody grieves a different way.
True. Okay, so you watched the whole movie, or you stopped halfway through, or what?
Watched the whole movie.
And then at the end, you said it sucked.
I didn't like it because I always find the little things that are just like some of the action, it just be too far fetched. Some of he's supposed to be a smart guy, but some things are just so dumb. But if he did this right thing, the movie would end early, kind of. So,
Right. Okay, so
my
plot
wife liked
hole,
it. She liked the action. There was some good car chases, but she liked it.
Okay, there's a difference. There's action and there's plot holes, right? Like this thing suffered with plot holes, not so much fantastical action that was unbelievable. Like, have you seen the new James Bond movies with that short blonde James Bond? I mean, the action sequences are so unbelievable. It's like you just can't watch those movies.
I don't like the new Bond. Old Bond is the best.
Yeah, the old Bond's best.
Connery.
Roger Moore.
Yeah, Roger Moore. They are Bond.
Yeah.
I think I might be in the minority here, but I like Pierce Brosnan.
He was excellent too, dude.
No, I like him too. I'm kind of confused as to where they're going with Bond. I'm not opposed to the idea of Bond being a black guy, but it's just out of step with all the other Bonds, right? So,
Bond being a black guy? No way.
Yeah. The next Bond is going to be this. He's a good actor.
Luther?
I
The guy who
forget
played Luther?
Yeah, the guy who played Luther. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fuck it. Why not?
Could be good.
Yeah.
Bond is back, and he's black.
I will play the flesh from your bone.
Well, I also thought the thing about Craig. I thought he was an odd pick for Bond, but he turned out way better than I thought he would. So
He has zero charisma, and they picked him for Bond.
I thought Layer Cake was awesome. Did you see Layer Cake?
No.
Yeah, go watch that one. It's kind of a caper movie, wouldn't you say? Anybody else seen Layer Cake?
Nope.
It's a great movie.
All I remember him was from that movie with the last movie that Newman did with Tom Hanks, Perdition. He was.
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah. It really wasn't that popular of a movie because Tom Hanks played a bad guy. Yeah, Sean Connery for the win, and then Roger Moore.
So Craig was Skyfall and Casino Royale. Did he do another Bond movie?
Was in the Quantum something?
Yeah, Quantum of
Solace.
Solace.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Wow, man, that's got to be a fucking great gig. Being Bond, Jesus.
It's got played out already, man. They should just end the whole thing forever.
No.
And they should delete all the movies.
Delete
all, get rid of the evidence. It kind of ties
Try
in
it.
with what you're talking about. I mean, got people who make great movies, right? I mean, their legacy, it lives on. You know, people are gonna enjoy those movies for years.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
I still watch Rosemary's Baby every like Halloween. That was made in like I don't know, 1960. It's something 1960 something.
Yeah, 67 or 69 Polanski.
Yeah.
I watch Ben-Hur once a year.
That's a
really?
damn good watch, man. Freak. The
I've
Chariot
never
Race.
seen it.
It's a great movie.
I usually watch. I didn't do it this year. I usually watch Trading Places during
Yeah,
Christmas.
that was a great one. Okay, what's the longest movie that you watched? I guess it is Ben-Hur, right? Have you ever seen Giant? That's like the longest movie I can watch.
The Seven Samurai. I think it's almost 3 hours.
I think Giant's like 4 or 5.
Oh wow, fuck that. Yeah, no. Couldn't do it.
Well, what about watching a season series? Like I got into Game of Thrones, and since I had to catch up, I was watching one after the other. Easily 4 hours would go by, no problem.
Really?
Yeah,
a lot of
I'll
people-
do that too.
I got addicted. I wanted to see
Sure.
the next one.
Yeah. You know what? The first time I did that, Lonesome Dove. I watched
Lonesome
all
Dove.
of Lonesome Dove in like one sitting. I started watching it one
Wow.
evening, watched it all through the night.
Dude,
Marathon, yeah.
damn.
Marathon.
What'd you like about it?
I don't know. I honestly don't know what I liked about Lonesome Dove, but it was just a really, really good show. You know, it was just very well done.
You like Westerns?
Not typically, no. But I just liked it. You know, a long time ago.
Could you watch the Dollars trilogy? Like Fistful of Dollars. What's it? Fistful of Dollars.
Mhm.
The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. But what's the other one? Fistful of Dollars.
Magnificent Seven.
No, and the Dollars trilogy.
Oh, and you know what those were? Actually the Fistful of, there's one that could be close. It's a Mule for Sister Sarah or some shit like that.
Yeah, that came afterwards. Okay, a Fistful of Dollars for a few dollars more, and then the Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Is that the way the Dollars trilogy goes? Anyway, yeah, that's like about 6 to 7 hours of movie.
That's a remake. If I'm not mistaken, Fistful of Dollars is a remake of an Akira Kurosawa movie called Yojimbo.
Yeah.
And then Yojimbo has a prequel called Sanjuro. But yeah, those are fantastic movies. Samurai, though, not Westerns.
Lindsay, are you there?
Yes, I've been
Did
trying
you
to get.
finish?
I'm trying to get Eric's attention.
Oh,
He's
I will play
looking
the
at
fly from
text.
your bones. What happened?
I'm done my poem. Can I
Oh.
link it to you?
You want to read? Can she read it?
Yeah.
I can't read it right now, Lindsay, because I'm fucking around on video games.
Oh,
That's why I didn't see what you did. I never see what's
it's
in the
really
chat.
long. And I don't know if it's that good.
Fuck
Oh,
it.
he'll tell you.
Actually, I won't.
Like the third stanza. Hey, that sucks. Come
Yeah,
on, Lindsay. Have some balls, man. Read it.
Have some balls. I'm sorry, my ovaries are inside of me.
My ovaries.
Figuratively, Lindsay. Figuratively, have some confidence in your skill.
Yes, that's true. I did talk to Shayna about my balls the other day.
All right. For the win.
Okay. It's titled Glimmer.
You mean like that movie with who's the
Mariah
sex?
Carey?
Yeah, Mariah Carey.
No,
Okay, sorry.
not related to that.
Would you call her a sex toy?
Sex bomb.
Oh, sex bomb.
Okay. Glimmer. I see them. It's hard to explain. People look at me as though my eyes are warped beyond repair. Glasses. I see them with them, or without them. It doesn't matter. Images in my mind. I close my eyes to hide them. Tears roll down my cheeks. I feel so helpless. In every glimmer of light they are seen. Creak goes the jester. Smile on, Cheshire cat. Smile, they say. Deep breaths. Oxygen is needed. Relax. Breathe. Moisture in the cracks of hands. Dry they have become. Drip, drip, drip. Glimmers of light. Light. Drip down. With this light, save me from myself. This glimmer of darkness shrouds and haunts me. The faces that stare down at me. They are but a glimmer of light. Even in the light I am afraid. Glimmering, ringing in my ears as though it's trumpet of harmony. I don't know if voices are real or not. Sometimes they come with what I see in the glimmer of lights. Sometimes I'm afraid that the shadows will arise within the light. I thought light was good, but perhaps I need a solid brick to hold me up, until there is nothing left in my mind. Smile on breath, deep, remember that. Without this, how am I supposed to overcome this? After all, it's from me, it's part of me, so if it is me, so I must accept me. So please, save me from myself before I go insane in the membrane. Serenity is needed, so deep breaths in the light. Smile onwards.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's like really highbrow.
That's good.
What does highbrow mean?
Introverted, like very introspective work.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's great. I'll take everyone else's word on that because I hate poetry. I took
fair
one
enough.
poetry course in college, and that was it for me.
Did you fail?
No, I got out of it before they could pin a grade on me. So
Okay. You're feeling very introspective, Lindsay.
Introspective?
Introspective.
I don't know what that means.
That means like you're looking inside. You're looking inward.
Yeah, I guess so. Because I'm quitting pot. Because I'm hallucinating when I smoke pot.
I
But
thought you've
I'm
already
buying a
quit.
guinea pig tonight.
Oh.
So I'm not a very good I'm not quitting very good.
Doctor told you to cut back.
Yes. He told me to cut back.
Okay, are you just quitting pot? Or it's better to quit a bunch of things at the same time. That way you don't blame just one thing.
Well, what else am I supposed to quit?
You can quit soda, can quit, eating bread, salt,
I don't eat white bread anymore.
maybe quit watching too much TV.
So I should quit Google Plus?
Well, the thing is, like, if you quit a bunch of things at the same time, then you just don't get hooked up on the one thing that you're quitting. See, follow that thinking?
Well, I
Yeah, but
fasted
what if
on Wednesday. Well, I'm feeling really good. Like, I feel confidence in me
Good.
because I've been, thinking. I feel more confident because I asked a girl out, and
Right.
now she said yes, and now we're dating and stuff like that.
Brojo,
Yes.
do you remember confidence like that, or have you totally forgotten?
I remember confidence like that. Yeah. Sure.
So you can empathize with...
I can empathize, but I would tell you, Lindsay, that you're seeking outside yourself for happiness.
What do you think
You
of
should
that?
you should be able to ask somebody out, and have the confidence that, you know what, I have nothing to lose, really. The only thing I lose is if I don't try, right?
Right.
And if it's
Right.
yes or no, okay. I just move on. But if you're seeking happiness from outside yourself from another person, and in the hopes that they're going to some way complete you, no doubt other people enhance our lives, yeah. But if we look to them to make ourselves happy,
I'm
you're
not
looking in the
going
wrong
to say
place.
that,
No,
well, if
well,
I did say that, I didn't mean to say that.
mhm. Well, I read between the lines, and sometimes, okay, if I misread, but that's what I was reading in between the lines of what you said. That's all, and I just have to say to be fair.
Um, Happiness. I try to be happy.
Yes.
I really do. I take my meds and I try to keep busy. It's just the whole thing of me not caring is, I don't know. I guess you have to find something to look forward to
Right.
in life. I have to find some sort of purpose.
Right.
And dating isn't my purpose. I never intended it to be my purpose. It's just nice to have a companion
Right.
along with it.
Oh, sure, sure.
Okay, so you're getting confidence. What other things are you going to be doing?
I don't know. I have to get a job.
Okay, so you're going to try applying for a job?
Yeah.
What kind of job?
I don't know. Anything?
Like an admin job or a job working at a restaurant?
I don't really want to do food again. I've worked in the food industry for 10 years.
Oh, really? What'd you do?
I worked in the school cafeteria for 6 years, and then I worked in a kitchen for 4.
Okay.
What was wrong with that?
I don't know. I just didn't. I liked it. I like working in the kitchen. I just don't. I already did it. I want something different.
Well, try something different.
She wants to do something new, right? She might be good at that, right? But there's more to life than good food, right?
Are you good at typing?
Well, yeah, I am, but except for I have nerve damage in my right arm.
Okay. Can you handle money?
Yep, I used to handle money for my grandma's dog training.
So you could work a cash register?
Yep, I used to be cashier at the cafeteria.
All right. Hey, Sokka.
You're all wrong.
That's right.
You're wrong.
I already concede.
Sokka.
We're all wrong.
All right.
Hey, Sokka,
Everyone is wrong,
Sokka,
including you.
we need a poem, Sokka. You have a poem for us?
Do I have a poem?
Yeah, we're doing poetry night.
Oh, this is poetry night. Oh, wow. You're all wrong.
It's elegant.
Bong. King Kong. Schlong.
Kyung.
Pyong.
Bong.
Okay. Okay, but to get back to like when you're feeling full of confidence, shouldn't you exploit it, bro Joe? When you're riding high on confidence.
Yeah, exploit it. Go for it.
I mean, what would you do? I know you're married, but what would you do else that's filled with confidence?
Oh, you can do a number of things.
Make a video?
Make a video. Write a book. Write
didn't know
more
you were-
poetry, Lindsay. There you go. I mean, I don't know. No, I don't write a book. I mean, you asking me for examples. I'm giving you examples.
Well, I mean,
Oh, for
Okay.
myself?
you brought up a point that Lindsay was kind of like looking elsewhere to get, turned on, with the confidence.
Oh,
Well, this is what I heard.
Okay.
I heard, well, I feel good today, I'm confident because I asked the girl out and she said yes.
Right.
It seemed like it was a result of the answer from the girl, and that's how I was reading it. If I'm wrong, Lindsay, my apologies, but that's how I was reading it. The confidence came after instead of before.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, it's just kind of like human nature. I was looking at it that way. Hey Sokka, so what have you been up to? Hangouts?
Usual stuff. I got a bunch of shit I gotta get ready for Super Bowl party tomorrow. So
Oh,
staying
a
up late
big
doing
one?
that. Yeah.
Who you rooting for?
Seattle.
Who's playing again?
Patriots in Seattle.
I'm from Massachusetts, so I guess I'll have to go with the Patriots.
So, like, you got any money riding on that game?
Nope.
Who do you think's going to win?
I'd like Seattle to win, but in the end, I really don't care.
Okay.
I'm not a huge football fan. I'm just actually more looking forward to big social get-together type thing.
Okay, so yeah.
Essentially a reason for friends to get together and get drunk.
Okay, you got the
That's what
liquor,
we'll be doing too, right?
food. Is it all dudes or is it
Enjoy the
female?
commercials again,
It's a lot of guys I work with and our spouses and
So,
shit.
women are going to be there too.
Yeah.
Who's doing the halftime show tomorrow?
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry.
She has a killer body, man.
I like her
Yeah,
videos.
she
Are
looks
very
good.
artistic. I love Dark Horse. I love that. I like the song. I like the video.
Yeah, she's pretty talented, isn't she? I mean, she wrote a lot of that stuff, which I was kind of surprised to find out.
Yeah, I'd be too. Okay, Staka, so has anybody ever gotten like a fist fight at your parties?
Yes.
What happened? It just too drunk or was it jealousy?
It's a very arching question. I mean, my parties can go back, 14 years to when I was in high school.
Oh, Super Bowl parties.
Oh, Super Bowl parties? No.
No violence, but other parties, yeah, they've had violence.
Yeah.
What's wrong with a little violence, dude? Drinking, violence.
But a lot of it had to do with, we're talking, over a decade ago. That's when people would just get drunk to get stupid.
Right. And
Welcome to yesterday for me.
and then fights would spring up.
I bet you they'll be checking the Patriots' balls more closely tomorrow.
What was that actually all about? I heard something was wrong with the ball, the inflation of the ball, or something like that.
Yeah, a ref came and they're supposed to have like a certain amount of psi in the balls. You know what I mean? And they check them like right before the game, and then they have access to a certain number of balls. I can't remember. And
12
one of the
aside.
refs. I'm sorry.
12 per side, which I just recently learned from all this whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and the ref found that they were a little bit low. So, and apparently,
Balls
I guess
are a little soft there.
little soft.
I think that's one way to use a tactic against the other team. So if you're actually used to playing with that sort of ball, right?
Right.
The other team isn't. The other team's going to have a disadvantage due to that. So they want to standardize that sort of thing. And I think it also has to do with which ball is being handed off to the team you're competing against, right? So you may not be able to kick that as well or something. I don't know.
You know what I heard was that it's easier to handle them, and particularly when it's cold.
Yeah.
Well, I would think
that's
so.
the idea. Is that each team provides their own balls for when they're on the offensive. What happened was that there was an interception, and a player from the other team kind of got the ball and was like, "Huh." Took it to the ref and says, "This seems a little flat." And then they went and they checked the other balls, and they found that they were the same.
Ah, yes, that makes sense actually. So there would be less traction if it was inflated properly.
Well, the solution to that is to play with Nerf footballs. What happened to Nerfs? Do they still have them?
Oh
Yeah,
fucking
they still have
Nerf's
Nerf.
huge, dude.
Yeah.
Guns.
They got. Have you seen? I got a 5-year-old, so go out and do the Christmas shopping stuff for him. And I found that Nerf, they make like the Nerf guns and stuff. They got like a whole new line for girls now
Yeah,
too.
the
Oh,
rebels,
girls
right?
too.
Yeah.
Huh.
They got like you get all like the Nerf guns and like all the other Nerf toys, but now you can get them in like pink and purple and all this other stuff as well.
Yeah, they're cool. I love the colors on them.
Oh yeah, they're fabulous.
Okay, a 5-year-old boy, right?
I still get those for my nephew. I don't care.
So fabulous.
Even if he grows out of them, I'm still gonna buy them. Love those things.
Okay,
Yeah,
Sokka.
the thought of owning a Nerf gun didn't occur to me in my adult age until I owned a cat. Because you see this little bugger doing something wrong on one side of the room, and by the time you go over there, kind of like, hey, stop scratching the furniture. He's gone. So at least with a Nerf gun, I can just pull it out from beside the sofa and it's like, stop it.
Pop. Okay, your boy is 5 years old.
Yes.
Sokka. Okay, do you want to buy him gun type weapons or other things?
It's I think it's a boy thing. It's that they watch, or maybe just a kid thing in general. I don't know. Depends what you kind of expose them to. Kid watches Transformers and GI Joe and all that other stuff, and they got guns there. He plays around, and prior to us buying him like Nerf guns or anything before, I mean, he just turned random other things into guns. His teddy bear was a fucking gun for a while.
Okay.
He'd make Duplo guns. If he wants to play with guns, he's got an imagination. He'll make something work.
Right. Okay. You get him stuff like frisbees and bean bags and gnip gnop. I was just wondering if you could just like navigate away from violent weapons.
It depends. You'd have to navigate away from all cartoons that had any type of action or guns in them as well.
Like, are you ever going to get him a BB gun?
No.
Why not?
Because he would shoot out his eye.
Shoot out his eye, exactly. Get him that Red Ryder beating a BB gun, I mean,
We're not from West Virginia.
I mean, in all fairness, I mean, like, it's kids are, well, they're great and they got great imaginations. You do need to realize that kids are, by most standards, stupid at that age. They're I mean, their sense of self-preservation isn't there yet, or you have to develop them. Yeah.
Okay, well. Okay, when is he going to go to school? Next year, or is he going to pre-K?
He's already in kindergarten right now.
He's in kindergarten now, huh?
Yeah, grade 1 next year.
I mean, are they like a nanny type kindergarten, or do they just have a sort of? Is it like a Monterey school, or is it just a public school?
It's a public school, but I mean, they still do the basic schedule and stuff. So they'll sit down and do like the letters and coloring, and then they got their gym class and music and drama and all that other crap still.
Oh, that's good. Is it an affluent school, or is it the mid-level, or is it a poor school?
It's actually it's Canadian school, so most of the schools are relatively equal, and the range of public schools there. I mean, they don't prioritize funding over some schools than the other that I'm aware of, but that being said, it's in a pretty good neighborhood. So,
because what I remember, I came from the middle of Nebraska, which was, I wouldn't say affluent, but we had like, breakfast, and we had plenty of toys. And then when my parents moved to New Mexico, we went to a really poor school, and I was there, and I was like, gee, when are we going to have breakfast? Well, there's no breakfast. Where are the toys? There's no toys. It was like a total shock, going from one, pretty affluent school all the way to like a poor school. I was just curious.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird. I've never had an experience like that. I mean, I'm sure it probably exists out there. I mean,
well, that's because U.S. schools are based on the community around it, tax dollars regarding that, right? So.
Mm-hmm.
So the rich neighborhoods always get the better resources when it comes to schools. The poor neighborhoods get the shit end of the deal.
Right. And New Mexico is just such a poor state, It's not even as on the same economic levels like Nebraska, mid-state. Anybody else have an experience like that? Of, going to a poor school?
Well, I visited one once, and then I proceeded to leave really quickly. Oh, feared for my life. No, I'm kidding.
Where
I've
was it?
been to a lot of schools. I've been around the block.
So what was wrong with the poor school? I mean, was it too minority or what?
What does that mean? Too minority? Too
I
too
mean, well,
many too many people
Was
with
was it was
darker
it
melanin colors.
okay. When I went
Yeah.
to school,
was it too colorful for you, Bunto?
well, no, when I went to high school, we were like 75% Hispanic and only like maybe 25% Anglo. So it was like that sort of differential. That's what I was talking about. I mean, was your school like Caucasian or was it
Well, I would say that the poorer school was more diverse. Sure, yeah, there was a lot more diversity there. The like richer schools that I've been to were definitely whitey
Yeah,
white. We
Anglo.
had like like in my high school there were two black people and one was
Right.
questionably like 3/4 white. So he
You know,
had
and
blue eyes and like kind of black skin. It was mostly light though.
in my high school we had like maybe 3 or 4 blacks.
Yeah.
Honestly,
So
just packed Hispanic.
I mean, I guess it's weird too. I mean, it's depends where you are as well, I guess. But the city that I grew up in, Canada, the demographic there is the majority of the people are either Eastern European descent or First Nations descent, and that's pretty even across most of the schools that I've been to.
But it was white, right?
No, First Nations are Native Americans.
Native
Yeah.
American. All right. So what was the demographic again?
Well, in the city that I grew up, there was. I mean, if I was to actually break down my high school, I'd say probably, I don't know, 25% white, 25% First Nations, 25%
Oh, really?
25%
Cool.
Filipino, and then 25% everything else.
Everybody spoke English, or was it bilingual?
Well, most schools in Canada are bilingual to a certain extent.
French and English?
Yeah, French and English. Plus, there's other language programs available.
So did you speak French?
I did at one point in time, enough to get through to upwards of grade 10 when I was no longer required past that.
Interesting. Anybody else bilingual?
But I was never fluent. Like I said, I knew enough to, ask how you were doing and where the washroom was.
Spanish.
Yeah,
Español.
Spanish.
Habla
Español.
español. ¿Qué pasa?
¿Qué pasó?
Yeah.
Honestly, actually, that's the one thing I wish I'd paid more attention actually in school when it came to
Me too. I wish.
French. Just the French in general, because like I said, I mean, I got by with the absolute bare minimum, and I never excelled at it, never really paid much attention to it. It was one of those things where I was just like, I really don't care. I do this because I'm required to. But now in retrospect, I look back and say, you know what? If I paid more attention to that, I think that would probably would have been a little bit better.
Well, with your boy, are you going to make sure that he's bilingual, or are you just going to let him organically develop? Are you
Well, I
going
mean,
to press upon him to be bilingual?
yeah, but maybe not French. I mean, shit, if he wants to learn another language, learn Mandarin.
Well,
I-
yeah, Chinese.
My son's 4, and I'm teaching him sign language. He knows all the
Oh, yeah.
ABCs, and he knows words and like how to express himself like that. And my mother has a master's degree in sign language, so like she kind of it's in our family. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So I'm making sure that he knows how to do it.
Oh, that's great. Totally.
I don't necessarily know about like if he wants to speak another language, that's cool. But I definitely wanted to because it's easier for children to learn sign language.
Right. Early.
Yeah. So he's developed it a lot quicker than I would have.
Yeah, I mean, if I put him into a program, that's the other thing too. If he decides to take up another program, I'm probably going to be a little more active with his education there. Maybe I could learn along with him.
Okay. What's that thing called? the PTA. Do they have the PTA in Canada? Parents Teachers Association, where you have to go see the teacher. You
Well,
know,
I mean, they have their little. We have our little parent-teacher meetings there, where it's just like one-on-one with the teacher, and here's how your kid's doing type thing. But as for like I guess every once in a while they have like the bigger meetings where they get all the parents together. But I don't think there's an actual like
mandatory.
association. Yeah, it's weird. It's just like there's a lot of changes. I mean, like from when I went to school and when my kids going to school, is that like I have the email address and contact number of every other parent of
Uh-huh.
kids in my of the kids in my son's class, which is something that I don't think my parents ever had.
So, okay, when I went to school, like a beeper was considered, nobody had beepers, and now the parents make sure that the kid even has a cell phone. I mean, what age are you going to give the kid a cell phone?
That's a good one. I mean, like I think that once the kids get to that age where you can trust them home alone by themselves, or
Right.
that walking to and from school by themselves, that cell phone isn't a bad thing. There's a lot of schools are trying to move away from this now, or that the idea that they're kind of shunning away from technology, smartphones, and shit like that in the classroom.
Wow, oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I know that my friend's son is what is he now, 13, 14, I think, around there, and junior high level there, and the kids that have iPads and tablets and stuff like that can come in and do their notes and shit on that. They encourage it.
Sokka, they don't have junior high down here anymore. Now they had just middle school.
Yeah, whatever they want to call it. Yeah, same basic idea.
Yeah, except it's like high school starts, you want to go 9, 10, 11, 12. I just went 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, that's what my high school was as well. It was just 10, 11, 12.
Right.
Some of the schools start at 9 now. What's weird is some of the middle schools start at 6 now. Here.
Oh yeah.
It varies from school to school. I don't know how they work it out.
So, do you want your kid to play sports?
Yes. Absolutely.
Like soccer sports or football sport?
Well, he's in skating lessons right now, and he's starting hockey next year.
Yeah, hockey. Pretty rough game, huh?
It can be, yeah.
So no apprehensions?
No, not really.
You play hockey?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah. A lot of parents nowadays have their kids play soccer instead. Have you seen that trend?
Yeah, well, soccer is one of those sports that's great because it's, great for parents because it's very cheap to put your kids into soccer. Outside of the registration fee, what do you need to get for your kid for equipment? A pair of cleats and shin pads. The rest of the uniforms and everything are provided for them from most of the community clubs or sports organizations that they have up here. You put your kid into something like football or hockey. I mean, like especially kids that grow pretty fast, is you're shelling out hundreds of dollars for equipment. A couple times a year. It depends on how fast they grow.
Okay, your kid plays like 1 year of hockey and doesn't want to play anymore. Do you get disappointed?
No, if he doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. Like that's fine. I'm not going to be like one of those. I'm not thinking that I'm going to be raising up the next. Sidney Crosby. Yeah, Wayne Gretzky, Sidney Crosby. My retirement plan doesn't rely on my kid becoming a professional athlete. I just
You
want
have
to be,
dishonored your family's legacy.
it's more like I want my kid to do sports. I want him to be active. I was active when I was a kid. I did a lot of different sports. I played soccer and hockey and football in high school, and I really enjoyed it. I had fun doing it. I had a lot of friends that way. And that's a lot better than what I mean, like I was most nights I had either had a practice here or a game here or something. I was constantly doing shit compared to now where kids, if you don't put them in the sports, you don't put them into anything, they don't do anything.
Okay, like your kid drops out and he wants to become a figure skater. You're good with that?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. He wants to wear tights.
I mean, like
skating around in a circle and twirl.
You know what? Honestly, it's at the stage where as long as he's happy, why not?
That's cool. I mean, that's the best way of looking at it.
It's graceful.
Well, it was funny actually. a couple weeks ago before Christmas break. There, I went to pick him up from school one day, and his teacher kind of calls me aside. She's like, "Listen, your son, he's good most of the time, except whenever we do drama class, he doesn't want to participate. He doesn't want to dance with the other kids." I'm just like, well, why not? He's like, well, I don't know. He doesn't like it. I'm just like, okay, well, what do you do to try to get him into the class again? He's like, well, I mean, if he's not participating, then we generally put him on a timeout. I'm like, well, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. The kid doesn't want to participate, so you're going to separate him from the class so he can sit around and do nothing. I think that's kind of what he wanted to do, but whatever, that's great. So anyway, I sat him down one day and I was just like, okay, listen, I know this is just kindergarten stuff, but school, you can't always do what you want to do. You gotta, there is a schedule. There is, a certain amount of participation that you have to do with the others, the other kids and stuff. So, at any given time, if the other kids are dancing, go up there and dance with them. Why not? Who cares? A couple days later, pick him up from school, and he's just like, hey, Dad. I'm just like, yeah. Boys can be ballerinas too. I'm like, great, get your hockey stuff. Let's go.
Okay, lyrics. Does that make sense?
What?
For the father to, play the cards that way as far as a kid in his activity, or would you like boss the kid to do the?
Well, I have an 11-year-old stepdaughter, and I have a 4-year-old son, and I don't. The relationships are different. You know what I mean? Than I think would be in Sokka's case. But I know that with me in the past, that I did basketball, from like junior high to like senior, around there, and it definitely helped me get friends and get a network of solid people together, working as a team and stuff like that. I think it's
team sport.
Yeah, it's important to have the team kind of mentality thing going at least a little bit. But I wouldn't necessarily force my kids to do it, if they were interested. I would definitely lead them in whatever path they chose, but my kid doesn't want to play basketball, he doesn't want to play basketball.
Okay.
But it's definitely encouraged to activities or encouraged, get outside, go play, shit like that.
You ever heard the story where like the famous actor always retells the story of his parents hating him going into acting, wanting him to do something different?
So if like my kid was an actor, would I get upset? Is that what you're saying?
Well, would there be something that he would do that you would, frown upon? Like I brought up the figure skating. Would there be something like you feel like,
I don't know. No, not really.
Ballet, like if the kid wanted to get into ballet.
My son could disappoint me. Maybe some people are different, but whatever he chooses is his path.
So he does want to become a dancer. You'd go ahead and facilitate that.
Shake your bonbon, I guess, buddy. I don't know. What are you talking? Are we talking sexy dancing, or are we talking like?
Well, I'm thinking like a kid.
Or what?
How does a kid? Let's say the end point, the kid becomes a famous dancer, right? But when he's starting in his formative years, he retells the story that his dad didn't want him to be a dancer. He wanted him to be a basketball player instead. So you follow that thinking?
Nah, man. If he wants to be like John Travolta or whatever, then knock yourself out.
Frank Sinatra danced all the time. That man got mad ladies all the time.
Yes. Some they need to have male.
I'm not as binary, I'm not as binary like that, but I do know that when you're raising children, for me, from my particular experience, that it's helped to have the men kind of raise the men and the women do the women kind of thing. I'm married, so like a lot of times my wife will handle discipline with her daughter or my stepdaughter or whatever. It doesn't go all the time, you know what I mean? But a lot of times I found it easier that if the man does the boy and the woman does the girl, that it seems to go a lot smoother. There's not as much fights and like I don't know about periods or anything like that. And
yeah, I see what you're saying.
I don't want to know.
There's three. Yeah. I know that there's 3 of them in each hockey game.
I love it, Sokka. But I was thinking about this. Let's suppose the kid wanted to become like a bull rider, like a rodeo guy, and he's gonna like have a 10 broken bones by the time he's 20 years old. I mean, would you try to push him away from that sort of career?
That's a tough one because like a lot of it just comes from experience. I mean, like we understand that our kids aren't complete carbon copies of ourselves. I mean,
Right.
I liked hockey, I like soccer, I like certain sports. So obviously the first sports that I'm going to try to get him interested in are the ones that I have an interest in as well. Like we sit down and watch hockey games together. He seems to like it, and it's just something that we do together. Same thing with, I mean, with the hockey. I mean, I played hockey. He looks forward to playing hockey next year. I mean, that's great. If he didn't like that, well, then what else do I know? I mean, let's get him into something, And now I'm going to throw the suggestions, probably, hey, how would you feel about this? We'll try this out for a bit, try this out, whatever. It doesn't really
Right.
matter. But I mean, like, yeah, I mean, at least if I was living maybe in, the American Midwest or something like that, I don't think bull riding is really an option. Like, where the fuck am I going
Well,
to put my kid in?
how far away are you from Calgary? Because isn't that a big, rodeo town, Calgary?
Yeah, I mean that the distance between me and Calgary would be like from the distance between, I don't know, New York and Texas.
So is that far? Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. Also, if you did live in Calgary, then that would be an option.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, like because there is a rodeo scene there, and if my kid was growing up on a farm. I mean, if I lived on a farm and he'd been riding horses since he was young or whatever, then I might be a little less apprehensive about having him around animals or in that type of environment. But we're not like that. We're from the city, and like the biggest animal he's seen is that we once had a cat that was pretty fat, probably weighed at least 30 pounds. But like that was about it, I guess.
Okay, the things that kids can get into is like skateboarding and the X Games. You watch those X Games on ESPN where they're riding the bikes in the swimming pools, flipping
Yeah.
them around. So, do you think that's dangerous?
Yeah, I mean it has potential to be dangerous. Anything has potential to be dangerous. I mean you gotta, you support the kid in whatever he wants to do, and hope that you can at least encourage him enough to be smart about the way he does things. That's. I mean,
Like if you see him doing them stunts without a helmet on, you're gonna say, "Hey, get a helmet on. Get off the
Yeah.
bike or get a helmet
Yeah,
on."
pretty much. Yeah, it's just like, okay, like he's gonna be on the skateboard regardless. Let's try to be safe about how you're doing this shit. Even Tony Hawk wore a helmet.
Okay, do you want to push macho on your kid or just, like other
No,
fathers do, push macho on the kid?
no, I'd probably praise more towards the school work than anything else.
Right, that's a very good point.
I'd pull him out of every single sport he was in a heartbeat if he started slipping in his grades when he gets older.
What do you think of that lyrics? School comes before sports.
It's high quality right there.
Did you ever have to like quit a sport because of school? Your
No,
schoolwork was
but I was a
poor?
retard when I was a kid, so
Yeah, I mean, see, that's one of the things that when I was playing, I never played at actually a really high level in hockey. I really liked hockey, but I was always kind of like middle of the road type thing. I knew I wasn't going to be great, but I still enjoyed it. But I was actually a lot better at soccer when I was a kid. And even when I was doing that, like my and my marks weren't the greatest.
Right.
My parents never threatened me with that at all. And in retrospect, if they had, maybe I would have my attitude towards school at the time would have changed. I mean, my attitude towards school was pretty poor until got to like senior year, and it was just like, oh great, what am I going to do after this type thing.
Right.
And then reality kind of crashes and it's, around you, and it's just like shit. I probably should have been paying attention the last 3 years so I can try to get scholarships or all that other crap.
Interesting. All the way to your senior year, huh?
Yeah, my senior year is actually when I actually kind of turn myself around and try to get good enough so I can actually get into a university.
Pyong, are you there?
Oh, Big Daddy.
So were you into sports in school?
Yeah, I played football, ran track.
Oh, excellent. Oh, okay. Or were you more into schoolwork? Were you a jock or were you a nerd?
I wasn't really a jock. I hung out with my friends that I had a lot of different friends, a lot of different interests. Like for the first couple of years in my high school, I would go with a buddy of mine. He was a little older than me. His name was Dax Sprynot. He was a big, massive, fat guy.
All right.
I mean, he wasn't like massively fat, but he was huge. He was like a giant. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And
Over 6
we
foot?
would go and we would play like, like Dungeons and Dragons type games.
Okay.
So I had that aspect of it where that's totally nerdy, And then I hung out with people who were friendly and had good senses of humor, so I didn't really necessarily hang out with jocks. Some of them were.
Okay, the guys that play chess club, that went into the chess club, did you make
I didn't
fun of
do
those
chess
guys?
until I was much later. I didn't do chess in high school.
The other nerds, did you pick on nerds?
No, fuck no.
Okay,
No,
because
I was a nerd myself.
Dungeons and Dragons always reminds me of college. That's when I really learned how to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, man, that was actually pretty fun. I didn't actually play Dungeons and Dragons. We would play like different games, but they were that type of game,
Role playing game.
Yeah, not so. These were more like
Risk.
more like Warhammer. Have you ever seen Warhammer?
I've just heard of it, but
Warhammer's like they really get into the tactics of it. They don't like pretend to be characters, but you have the units, different unit types, and they move like X amount of units and stuff like that. Those were the kind of games I liked. So,
okay, the games that they play in the hexagonal.
Exactly.
On hexes, yeah. Right.
Right.
Like
that we always were playing hex games, hex map games. And they were fun. I like that stuff. So I'd probably play that shit now.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, last Monday, I went into a couple weeks ago, or I don't remember when it was. I went into a hobby shop because I just wanted to go in there and watch them play these miniature games.
Okay.
I'm not going to get into it now because it just costs a ton of money to buy all the Warhammer shit, or whatever. Like Warhammer's a good example.
Okay.
You have to buy all the little figures and stuff. So I'm not going to do that. But I'd like to watch it, and I actually wanted to photograph it too, because I think that would be fascinating subject matter.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this. Did they pick on the nerds in your school?
No. I'm a big dude, and I actually had, like I said, I had a wide range of friends, and I had friends that I think would misbehave because they knew I would stick up for them even. But I didn't pick on other people, and most of the time I didn't see a lot of that stuff. I had like upperclassmen pick on me. I remember my brother was a senior when I was a freshman, and some cocksucker thought he could,
break you
badmouth
in
me or something, and
right.
I grabbed him and I smashed him up against the lockers, and then he was like, okay, that was it.
So you stood up to the bully and you were victorious.
Well, actually I was. So, and he was just a fuck up though, I mean, wasn't like I had a big fight or anything. But anyway,
does anybody else have stories about how they stood up to bullies in high school?
Well, I was kind of dangerous because I was like I came from the nerds, but I was like a social engineer, so
Social engineer.
Yeah, I had the football team basically working for me, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you're like a leader, like an alpha male.
Pretty much, yeah. I got in good with a lot of the
jocks
girls and whatnot, and the jocks, yeah. So.
So how'd you?
They would want, help with this or that beyond their, how do I put it nicely, intellectual capacity. Yeah. So.
All right. So you parlayed.
I was like an intellectual bully, is what I was in high school. So.
Oh, okay. Was there a debate team? Were you on that?
No, I hated debate team.
Why?
Because debate is. I mean, I find it entertaining occasionally, but generally it's not fun. So I don't. I also don't like sports for the same reason.
So,
So
what did you do in high school? Were you in the club, chess club,
no, I wasn't in the chess club.
computer club?
Yeah, I was the computer lab aide through high school.
How many computers?
It was like 30 or something like that. I would help people with whatever they were learning at that time, word processing, web page design, whatever. So
Oh, that's cool. Pretty nerdy. We only had one computer when I went to school, way back in the day. How about you, Lyrics? Were you a nerd,
Nah, I don't know. I didn't really pay attention that much.
or were you a freak or a jock?
Nah, nah.
I don't think real high schools. I don't care about American high schools, but I know in Canadian high schools that it's not so cliche as the you know as like
Cliches. We got
as
nerds,
no. I'm just saying
freaks.
it's not as cliche as like the you know as movie and television puts it out to be. I never experienced like that. I had any experiences like that.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, we had see, I went to a Catholic school, and so our we had groups, but they weren't designated like in that way. It was more like if you lived in a particular like I had to drive 30 minutes to go to school, okay?
Wow.
And so the people in the town, it was called Belleville. And so people who lived in Belleville, they kind of hung out together, and people that lived in my town, we kind of hung out together, that kind of thing, you know, for the most part. But there was a lot of crossover too because I made friends with a bunch of really cool dudes, and you just hang out with them.
I think that in high school, my friends could be separated into two groups, and those were the ones that smoked weed and the ones that didn't.
Okay, freaks and everybody else.
Well, no, it wasn't that. I mean, like, I hung out with a lot of guys that I played sports with, and some of them smoked weed, and we'd go and we'd smoke weed with the other guys that, whether they were, jocks or nerds or freaks or whatever you want to call them, we'd all hang out together and smoke weed, and then, there would be the other section of, random groups together that didn't smoke weed, and I'd hang out with them when I wasn't smoking weed.
I remember
I'm
doing that in basketball, dude. Oh man.
I'm sure, like most of you, probably there were two graduation parties. One involved weed and one didn't.
Yeah.
No, there
Did you
was
go
like
to,
the tame party, and then there was the real party, pretty much.
I mean, if you were to actually do like a straight split down the middle of the different groups of the school, yeah, that's pretty much how it was broken down to. The people that by the time that they were in high school were drinking and smoking weed, and the people that weren't.
so they're like they know you were ahead in high school?
Yeah,
Okay, you didn't take any flack for that?
from who?
Well, from like your girlfriend or something,
I
you
actually
know.
dated the same girl the entire time I was in high school, and she didn't even go to the same high school as me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow. So like I guess they were close high schools or were they crosstown high schools?
no, cross town.
Because, we had a crosstown high school and there was just like a ferocious rivalry, you know? So that's really something that you could date a girl from the crosstown rival.
Well, it wasn't across town. I mean, I grew up in a relatively large city. There is you know
Yeah.
a lot more than two high schools.
I grew up in a
The-
high school.
I mean, there was a rivalry between there was my high school, which was um, more of a more money got put into like the sports programs than anything else at the
Right.
high school I went to. Then there was a high school about 5 minutes away, which was more kind of a tech one. Like
Incredible.
if you wanted to
Yeah.
go and do like the automotive stuff or the
A vocational
carpentry
school.
stuff, yeah, like that. If you went to that school, you
Yeah, I
know.
had the same thing. Yeah.
So we had a kind of a rivalry with them, but that was about it.
Were you ever worried about getting kicked out of high school or dropping out?
Yeah, yeah, I was.
I guess you just go to alternative school instead or get your GED.
Yeah, there was. trying to remember how it went down. I got I finished high school. I graduated. I actually had to go back the year afterwards.
Seriously? For
Yeah,
what?
math.
Oh, damn. Those fuckers.
Yeah, there was you don't find out about the stuff later on, but there was one math teacher in my school
Uh-huh.
that I started off in pre-cal math, basic university entrance type stuff, and my first the first semester in grade 12, senior there, I failed as well with like 50% of the class.
Right.
And just like what the fuck's going on? Like what's going on in the class? That 50% of the students that took this math failed. There's either how do you look at that? Either 50% of the class was really underachievers, which was surprising, or maybe there were, or maybe the teacher just wasn't doing his job properly. I don't know. Like how do you blame the teacher? It's everybody just kind of looks at the students, and obviously you weren't trying hard enough, whatever. So the second semester I went into applied mathematics. Still university
Right.
entrance, not as high up, whatever. And again, but this time around it was the same teacher, and this time around out of a class of started with about 25 of us. By the time that we finished, there was 15 people left in the class because 10 people were smart enough to leave and move to a different class.
Yeah.
And out of the 15 people left in the class, only 5 of them passed.
I mean,
And it wasn't until afterwards we found out that the teacher himself was getting divorced, going through depression, and a bunch of other
Right.
things, and was pretty much taking it out on just about everybody.
yeah.
And so I actually had to go back and get my get to consumer math, to challenge that, just to be able to graduate. But then afterwards, I had to go to a different high school and upgrade my math back to university entrance.
Wow. I have to tell you guys, I have a recurrent dream of of still being in high school, like just like you described, Sokka, of like having one class that I had to take. Isn't that weird? I guess it's like just something in my mind that I did graduate from high school, but just that dream of like there's one class holding me back.
Oh fuck! I have that dream all the time, bro. I'll have
What's
just
behind
like
that
two.
dream?
It's
Uh,
just a couple of months ago. I had a dream where I fucking had to take my finals, my engineering finals, and I was like, fuck. And I hadn't gone to class all semester. I was like, what the fuck is going on? How'd I fuck this up so bad? Then I woke up and it's like, okay, that's all that shit's over.
I know it's that dream. I just tell myself, oh, it's that dream again. What the fuck, man?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. Okay, so you sailed through high school, right, Pyong?
Yeah.
And as far as like the crappy teachers, you just evaded them or just went through them.
Yeah, that was my only problem in high school. Like we had one teacher that taught our higher level mathematics actually, and she was an absolute fucking cunt. Just a trip, And so I hated her, so I didn't take the upper level mathematics. But it was okay. It didn't matter.
Because you took the remedial when you went to college.
Well, no, I what do you mean remedial?
Well, I mean, when
I
you get to
became an
college,
engineer, so I had to take all the. I had to start at like trig or whatever.
right?
Go up through differential equations.
So how many hours did you take your first semester?
Oh fuck. My first semester in engineering, I went part time.
I know, 'cause I could just imagine. I made the biggest mistake ever in my college experience. I took 18 hours my first year. Just
Mhm.
totally caved me in. And like the rest of my college experience was trying to come up from all those failures. Come up from like C level to B level. That was a big mistake. I advise any listeners out there, your first semester of college, go part time like Pyong or take 12 hours. Nothing like 18.
Yeah, that's university was interesting for me because I went to my first year of university. It was great. I was looking forward to it until about a week into it, and I was just like, I just finished high school. Why do I want to go back and keep on doing this stuff? I was kind of home free there for a bit,
Right.
and so I made it through a semester, and then I took a year and a half off, and then I went back for a year, and then and just struggled through that, and was not having fun, and then I took another year off, and then I went into did one more semester, made about halfway through, and said, you know what, this isn't for me. And my marks weren't bad. It just that by this time I was I think 21, and had my own place, had my own job, responsibilities, all this other shit, and the stress just got to me.
In my case, it was funny. It took me about 3 or 4 years to find myself, but when I did, it's like the teacher. It was like a teacher. He loved me. I became like a teacher's pet, and it just sort of exploded. Like all my grades got way better after I found myself.
Yeah, and it has a snowball effect too. I found, where you do well, and then you get praised for it, and you feel good about it, and it's a big motivator to continue to do well. Yeah,
it is the teacher. I mean, when you run into a good teacher that freaking just makes sense to you, your grades will get that much better. Lyrics. So you went into the military, correct?
Yep.
So like right after high school?
Yep.
Okay. Aces, what did you do?
Sorry, I don't know. I went in when I was 18, got out. I was in for 2 years active. So I got out when I was 20, and it's been a fun time since then, bro.
Okay, so
I did the same thing after the last year when I dropped out of university, and was kind of sitting around thinking, this like, well, what am I going to do now? You're like,
right?
Am I going to just work at the recycling plant that I was working at for the rest of my life? And I was just like, you know what? Well, why not? So I actually ended up joining the Army as well, and then did that for about a year and a half before blowing out my knee and remustering to the Navy.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
And I've been in ever since. And I mean, the bright side about that is that I'm about 14 years away from my pension.
How much is your pension at? I can't remember. I got out like so long ago. Everything's changed. Is it 20 years for you now?
25.
They changed it? It used to be 20.
Different service, I think.
Used to be 20, and then they increased up to 25 to 25 years to get I think it's 65% of your best 5 years.
So the best thing about the Navy is the food, right?
No. Well, it depends. The food in the Navy is actually not bad for when you're sailing. If you've been in port recently, because for about the first 2, maybe 3 weeks after you leave on an exercise or on deployment, the food's not bad. But then you run out of the fresh stuff, and then you just start eating frozen crap for the next however long until you can get resupplied.
Army food is good, and they give you as much as you can eat. I'll tell you that. I've never ate so much food, dude, in my entire life.
It all depends. I mean, it depends too, where you are. I remember there was I'm not sure what happened, but back when I first started off in the Army, in the infantry there, I assume that the mess had just over ordered on chickpeas. Because for probably about 2 months straight, everything had chickpeas in it. Things that, meals that weren't supposed to have chickpeas in it had chickpeas. It's like, we're having spaghetti tonight, and they'd be like spaghetti with the inside the sauce would be chickpeas. Every single meal had a chickpea salad. It was just it was hilarious, man. It was just I was so sick of chickpeas.
Probably a military experiment, right?
Yeah.
I was stationed in Virginia, and it was all Southern food, soul food.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty much what we had in my barracks. I can't remember what it was called.
Chicken and dumplings.
What's really funny.
There was greens. They had greens all the time. Yeah, collard greens. They had mashed potatoes all the time. There was always chicken, fried chicken and stuff. It was soul food, dude. It was great. And
it was great.
Yeah.
There was this one thing that they make on ship every once in a while, And whenever you come in to get your food there, and you see the menu there, and it's a Tuscan style penne with sausage, and I guess it's in the big book of recipes or whatever the
Right.
fuck, like the stuff that they so every at least once a month you're gonna have this, and it was always so good. And like I'd come off a ship, for a course or whatever, and that would be what I'd miss this. So I actually learned how to make that at home. So every once in a while I'll go and I'll actually make stuff like that I learned how to make from the cooks on ship.
Yeah, they sell it at the store in packages. I've seen it. The penne and sausage. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's just like this. The main thing is it uses like this Romano cheese, and like with it, and it's a bunch of all green and red peppers and onions. It's so good.
Hey, Tommy, how you doing?
Hey, Tommy.
Oh, you're muted, man. Sorry.
Sign language.
Nice to hear you, buddy.
I know. We're just watching him. Anyway, Acius.
Oh, but one thing though is that in the Navy, sorry, you always know what you're going to eat on certain days. Like Friday.
Yeah, it's the same shit. Mondays, same shit. Tuesdays, same shit. It's like that.
Thursday is always steak night. Friday is always fish day.
All right.
Sorry, I'm done talking about Navy food now. Sorry.
Okay, Acius, you didn't join the military, or you did?
I only spent 2 years in high school. I finished all of my requirements within that period.
Okay.
And then I went to college after that, and spent 2 years in college and got a transfer degree from there, and then I went to university.
Mm-hmm.
And then I spent some time there, and then I actually left university after doing a bunch of different various studies, and I did some other things. I went and decided to be a monk for a while, and
A monastery.
and enlisted in the military after that, and then I went back to university and did some more shit, and then
That's incredible, man.
I have like over 200 credit hours. So, but yeah. So then I basically I do lots of contract work now and
Right.
in various fields.
Okay, would you like to get a degree?
What's that?
Would you like to get a degree?
No, I have a degree.
Oh, and what?
I actually have two.
Are they soft or hard degrees?
What do you
I have a
mean
soft.
by soft or hard?
I'm a soft degree, Bachelor of Fine Arts.
I do
John
have
is-
I do have a bachelor's of the arts,
So there's one soft.
and I have an associate's of the arts. So
Oh, too soft. That's awesome. Okay, the military. Do you have nightmares about it?
do I have nightmares about it? You should ask everyone that before me.
I have nightmares about it. I had a nightmare about it just 2 weeks ago, man. For some reason, I was trying to enlist into the Army. And then I got as far as where they were going to do the haircut on me. And then I told them, hey, I'm 49 years old. And then they said, go back to the bus stop. And they gave me a yellow beret to wear that said, it was like something, reason old age. Cop out was old age. And they called me Marine Killer #1. And I just have no idea in the dream of why they gave me that patch. So yeah, I mean, I guess
That was a patch, Marine Killer #1.
yeah, something like that. Like
That's a sweet fucking patch, dude.
I know. Let me see. I wrote the dream down in my feed. I have to go back look, but yeah, I had a dream about the military just like 2 weeks ago. Maybe within the last week. Do you guys ever have dreams about being in the military? Okay, let me read you what it said. Okay, mine thing says too old. Just woken for a dream whereas I tried to enlist in the army. I got as far as the point where they were going to shave my head, to which at that juncture I informed the drill sergeant of my advanced age, 49. He was quite disappointed and instructed me to go back to the base bus depot and gave me a yellow beret to wear that had patches that said Reason, Old Age, and Marine Killer 1. I have no idea why that had to indicate that I killed a single Marine. No, that was my dream weeks ago. So I don't know. I mean, have you ever had a nightmare about the military, Acius?
Well, I enlisted in the Air Force, so my experience is from there. No, I don't have nightmares about the military.
How about the Boy Scouts?
The Boy Scouts.
Terrified.
I didn't really care for the Boy Scouts.
They're sort of like the Marines.
I was a week below.
Oh,
I don't know about that. I know Marines. They're that's kind of like a religion. So
I love Marines, actually. I have great admiration for Marines.
Why? What makes them so special?
I have friends that are Marines, and
Their uniforms are sharper, man. Come on, admit it.
my uncle was a
hats, man.
Marine,
I
and my
love
uncle,
hats.
my uncle was a Marine, and he was always trying to pressure me to go into the Marines. So I guess it's there for me, Marines.
My dad was Marine, and he pressured me to go with the Marines, and I told him to kiss my ass, and I went in the army.
There's where the men are. Okay, well, let me see. Tommy, are you there? Hey, Tommy,
Yes, sir. Sí, señor. Sí.
were you in the Were you in the Marines? Were you in the military?
Yes, sir. I was in the Boy Scouts of America and several paramilitary operations, and usually I don't disclose how many people I've killed.
I see. It's like that movie Apocalypse Now. So, all right, did you ever consider joining the Army or the Navy, Air Force, or Marines?
Yes, I did, but my ingestion of lawful but illegal herb prohibited me from being acceptable by the United States military. So I teamed up with private institutions to fight communism for America and all the citizens thereof. Yep,
Did you ever?
East Germans, yep.
Did you ever have to speak to an Army recruiter?
No, never have interviewed an Army recruiter. Nope.
Remember, I had once.
I think I talked with someone concerning forging a persuasive, not coercive, persuasive talking points at one time. Somebody was working on some talking points for recruitment, and I had a good, long, yummy chat about developing talking points, but past that, not a real recruiter, you know.
Oh, Lyrics, did your recruiter lie his ass to you?
Yep.
I mean, they'll
tell you whatever. They'll tell you whatever they need to tell you.
Like, you thought you were going in for computer science and you found yourself frontline infantry?
No, not like that. You figure out your MOS, you have it in your contract, what you're going to do. Everything is, your itinerary is all planned out in your contract and everything, where you're going to basic, where you're going to AIT, where you're stationed at. It's all planned out prior. So, like, I knew where I was going and stuff. I would say that he didn't make me aware of certain benefits, which at the time would have been useful, we'll just say. That's probably about it.
All benefits are useful. How are you doing, Mindin?
Yeah. Hey, guys.
Hey, Bunto, can I share something here real quick?
Sure, please.
Have you ever heard Opie Taylor's definition of existence?
No, tell us, please.
Something with shape and location. An object with shape and location.
Okay, I've heard that vaguely. Yes.
You've heard that. So I asked him earlier. It's like whether the universe exists. And he said that the universe is a concept that relates space and matter. Concepts don't exist, so no, the universe doesn't exist. How do you feel about that?
Brilliant.
Okay. How long have you had this conversation with the man?
I heard him bring it up like a couple weeks ago, and then this was going on in the text chat. Text chat of a comment he put out there. So I was looking at this like, what? I don't even know how to respond to this.
Okay, do you ever feel like you're a crime fighter, Sokka? That you hear other people's philosophical arguments, you have to fix an injustice?
Yeah, like that old meme, just like, honey, I can't come to bed. Is there somebody wrong on the internet?
Something like that.
Excuse me.
You know what? Sometimes I feel like, what, I should probably like maybe open up a discussion, a dialogue of sorts, to be like, okay, maybe we can come to terms on where we disagree. But more often than not, I just think it's a lost cause.
Okay. Were you ever fervent? Or now, were you more fervent earlier in your, appraisal of trying to fix the problems?
No, I don't think so. I think I've pretty much...
Like you went to Nadia's Hangout and it just finally, you exploded, and then after like 2 or 3 of them, you just gave up.
Yeah, no, I've done that. I still explode, but I explode mainly on, not necessarily on the topics, kind of surrounding, like, whatever we're talking about, but more on just like some of the personalities of people out there,
like how solid is Nadia on her philosophy?
She knows it. I just disagree with her on certain aspects of it, like that. She asserts determinism, things like that, and metaphysical material. Determinism and metaphysical materialism, which are two concepts that she does put out there that she stands pretty fervently by, but I don't agree with them.
Anyone? How solid is Nadia, philosophically wise? Anybody want to,
She seems rather crystallized in her beliefs. Unpersuadable, unmoved, doesn't get flustered when challenged. I'd say she's pretty solid.
Okay, does Nadia ever change her position? Yes or no?
Never seen it. Never seen it. I have seen her glibly smile.
Yeah, I've seen her smile.
Yes, and almost become joyous, almost, a few times, but she's pretty laid back. Yep.
Okay, if you guys were like one-on-one in proximity with Nadia, could you have a philosophical conversation of any substance and duration? Any of you guys? I mean, one-on-one proximity, just sitting in a room with her, would you be talking philosophy, or would it just be impossible?
You can always talk about the weather with somebody.
Yeah, she's pretty cool, actually. I think I'd get on her nerves, but especially if I had a joint, I'd be real laid back and happy to chat with her.
She'd say something, and then you just would say, what do you mean? I mean, would that happen a lot?
Yeah, her speech patterns can be hard to understand, but I think she would be more understandable in person. And, yeah.
Okay, like, are we watching Nadia, or are we interacting with Nadia? I watch her. I really don't think I can interact with her. Neither.
I don't do any. Well, I don't watch her anymore, and I don't go to her Hangout. So.
Okay, so you've just totally jumped the track and get out of there.
Yeah, it's boring. I like Nadia. I mean, Nadia's nice, but it's ridiculously fucking boring.
Is there anybody in there who's a real ringer that impresses you?
No. Well, I don't know. I mean, I like
during the day, Adam Pugh jumps lots, and I really do. I really like Adam Pugh.
You think?
I like Armin because I like Armin. But no, it's not. It's not impressive. What you got? People having philosophical arguments or occasionally poaching a theist's beliefs. Come on, who gives a fuck?
People can't even agree on what reality is, man.
Yeah.
I've seen a constant turnover of interesting and intricate thinkers, interesting people and intricate thinkers. You know, disgust is plenty of disgust, but interesting though, very very interesting characters, individuals, constantly.
Brojo has keyworded the term Nadians.
Dude,
As disciples of Nadia. Nadians. I'm a Nadian. I like go in there and watch Nadia, but it's not like I can interact because it's like she'll start saying something about determinism, and I'll be like, I don't understand any of that.
See, that's the thing. Philosophy is not complicated, man. It's just got its own vocabulary. You know what I mean? So just Google it.
good point.
Well,
anybody can fucking do philosophy.
If I bone up in philosophy for like 2 weeks, I can get in there and start handling Nadia.
I don't know if you'd be handling Nadia, but
okay. Here's the thing about Nadia. Nadia is not philosophically inclined. She's not about argumentation or proving a point. She reads off definitions.
Right.
That's why she has a lot of the speech patterns that she does, because she has like 45 tabs open at the same time. She's reading off a fucking page every time she's talking to you. So, I don't know if the rest of you figured that out, but that's what she does.
Okay, so the proximity argument right there, if we were in proximity and I could shut off the computer, we could not have a discussion about philosophy.
Sure you could, man.
Well, you could, but you wouldn't really have anything that would be enlightening, I don't think.
Oh well, man, dude. You know, I mean, that's a bit patronizing. You can always have a discussion.
Totally warranted.
You can always have a discussion. You can always have a discussion like, okay, you know, Machiavelli. Everybody's familiar with The Prince, and
right.
I'm sure everybody's familiar at least with the literary version of Plato's Man in the Cave, or it's attributed to Socrates. So you can say, for example, Machiavelli, is he in the cave? Or is he outside? You know, something like that. That's a philosophical discussion. And to some people that might even be fucking meaningful. Not to me, but you could have that discussion. I agree with what Aisha said about the definition part, and I saw that too because she brought up something that had to do with the law, legal theory, and it was somewhat. I don't mean to criticize Nadia, but it was somewhat ridiculous, and it was distinguished. And it was so ridiculous that I thought this has clearly been distinguished, and I searched, and indeed it had been. But, you know, it's problematic even to use those terms when if indeed she's just reading the terms of the ideas, who gives a shit? You can still talk about it without using the terms. It's just offhand. I mean, I understand, though, you know, that it's a lot easier if you're trying to explain an intellectual construct to someone else who is so inclined. It's a shorthand, you know. But I think in the philosophical discussions that I've heard, it's frequently used in that way, but it's also sometimes used to obfuscate. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She doesn't seem evangelical in her perspective at all. She doesn't really seem interested in being understood. She's rarely interested in being correct. Sometimes she is. She's corrective. Occasionally she seems moved a little bit to educate. She will lay out some nifty fact or technical understanding. She's moved about that sometimes. But she seems very emotionally uninvested. And she seems very pleased that people are there, but very involved in her own thoughts and not interested in conversing a whole lot. Rarely. I don't think she's impressed with.
I'm sorry, Tommy. I didn't mean to cut you off there, buddy. Yeah, I was just going to agree with you. I see that too. It's like, it's strange. She talks a lot, but it's very hard to communicate with her, I found.
Okay, I'm back. Alrighty. Every time I wake up in the morning, I go to Nadia's room and say hi to everybody.
Uh-huh.
And then I tell her about, chitty chat, and then I go to the gym. And when I come back, that room is packed, right? I mean, I can't get back in because they're talking philosophy and theology, so forth. So she's got that working for her, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, people are really into philosophy and theology and mysticism every fucking day, right?
And she is tolerant. She
Yeah.
abides some idiocy, some real crackadoos, long winders. She does
Right.
tolerate.
I'll totally give her that. As a matter of fact, that's what I felt was actually appealing to me about her was the just the level of patience that she had, and how she was willing to listen to somebody speak, and careful not to.
Okay. The reason that is because philosophy, theology, and mysticism are very safe subjects. Fantasy is very pliable, as word games are.
What are unsafe subjects, do you perceive?
Well, okay, she'd say, like, for example, tonight she wanted to say transsexual Jesus, because I always call her tranny Jesus because we're disciples of Nadia. So, I want to go talk LGBT and I can't get in, right? So I sent her a love note. I said, hey, kick one of the straights out so I can get in there and talk. And she said no. So it just shows you that she does protect, that philosophy, theology, mysticism angle, opposed to things that would be tasty to somebody like me, exciting. I talk about high school and the military and nerds and stuff like that, Boy Scouts. I try to stay away from philosophy, theology, and mysticism because I don't understand a bit of it.
It's because they don't get anything solved, dude. They just
That's
argue
right.
they all argue about the level of their education. That's it, dude. Someone's more educated in philosophy or their concepts, whatever. However they phrase their argument, the phrasure of the argument is more important than what the hell they're talking about, dude. And they're transcendental claims and all this crap, dude. Mystical, supernatural mumbo jumbo. Half of it's just trying to think how smart they are, and they end up
pissing contest,
Yeah. My dick's bigger than yours, bro. I got a big philosophical dick, blah blah blah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if somebody's interested in it and they find value in discussing it, like for example, I think Sokka is interested in it and he likes discussing it. I know Eve is interested.
Right.
She likes discussing it. That's great. People get together and I mean,
it's
really
good for things that aren't about God. Once you put God in philosophy, then it's kind of like just a dick measuring contest. But when you're actually talking about real reality, philosophy definitely has its place.
To that point there with me in philosophy is that I liked the position that I hold is not that when it comes to the whole God question isn't I don't have an affirmative stance on God does not exist or God does exist. I'm just a basic agnostic here.
I know he farted.
Nice, bro, nice.
That's awesome.
ST in the house.
That's called heavy duty philosophy, right?
Yeah.
Captain who?
What I like to discuss is is getting on to okay, can you I mean, obviously you can't prove that God exists, but all these people that make very assertive claims about the existence of God will do it in such a way that will be like almost to show that God has to exist by necessity. And so when you get into these arguments, whether it's the Kalam or whether it's various
precept.
Well, precept's not really an argument for God; it's more of an argument to shut people up. But
but that's an example, though, Bunto. And that's where you can utilize philosophy to kind of counter it, if you understand it.
Well, I know you guys are just talking. I'm just thinking of the stuff they tell me. So I say precept and Kalam and
Precept.
determinism.
The thing about the precept is they're actually, outlining something in philosophy that we recognize is a whole. But they're exploiting it in a stupid way, and it's got a ton of shit that's wrong with it.
Essentially, what they do is they try to assert that you're, unless you start with God, that you can't have a logically consistent explanation for certain things, I guess.
Yeah.
But what they don't realize is that they don't have a logically consistent explanation for these things too.
It's
Because
an assertion at best.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
they try to reduce your worldview down to absurdity by showing how circular it is, without having to also admit that their worldview is also just as circular, just with the goalpost moved.
Okay.
That's it. But
So.
yeah, so it's kind of annoying there. But so these discussions where you get into these ontological arguments, or these discussions over the necessity of God, they try to assert it through philosophy, which they can't do. But the thing is that when they try to do this through philosophy, unless you have, I guess, a rudimentary understanding of it, you just kind of sit there like, okay, like how do you respond to that stuff? So anything that I've learned from philosophy has been more kind of a response to the philosophy that's been tried to assert on me.
All right, well, let me ask you this. Okay, people like Opie Taylor and Adam Pugh are just walking around bashing you over the head with philosophy, right? Anybody they encounter? Is that what they're doing?
No, Opie Taylor is an idiot. He's not bashing anybody with philosophy. He's just what he's he's trying to do is define things in a way that meets his point. Like that's the only argument he has, is that he has his own weird definitions of things. And if you Adam Pugh, on the other hand, isn't doesn't use philosophy either. He's just I don't know. He'll argue more with theists than anybody else for the positions that he holds.
Okay, who's going around throwing around philosophical weight?
You see that a lot with the Calvinists. So you'll see that from guys like Jimmy Stevens or Jacob Cobble, if you ever interact with those guys.
Yeah, that Jacob Cobble guy. I got into it with him.
Yeah, they're interesting guys. I like them for whatever reason, but I don't find that their arguments very satisfactory at all.
Well, they're less scorning bitches. I don't care what subject it is.
It depends on what your level of evidence is.
I don't care what subject it is, God or electronics. If you're a scorning, condemning bitch, it gets old fast, damn fast.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Slick tries to result. If you ever watch Matt Slick talk, because he bases a lot of stuff on philosophy and logic, and it's just frustrating to listen to. I mean, that's a good example of someone who's basing it completely in this realm of philosophy, where he's trying to get you to a point where I don't even know what his point is. It's but yeah, like I don't really find arguments like that very compelling, because like Lyric said, that at the end they are just assertions.
Okay, so like if I ever run into this Ozymandias guy, I got to know philosophy.
You don't have to. He's generally pretty good at talking. I mean, I have him on our little show that me and Xbox do every week.
Okay.
He's been on a couple times, and he's really good at kind of breaking it down, and not just he doesn't bash you over the head with philosophy. He'll a lot of the stuff that he puts out there is counter to the claims that people try to do to abuse philosophy.
What do you think, Pyong? I got to start boning up on philosophy?
No, only if you enjoy it. I mean, there are some, it does. With regard to the theistic debate, I don't think so, or the belief debate, I don't think so, because there's a simple fact that any philosopher will tell you. They'll all admit that philosophy can never prove anything in our reality. Period.
A true philosopher will admit it, but these guys won't.
Right. Well, but yeah. So that's. But as long as you understand that, that's fine. But yeah, I think philosophy definitely has literary value. I myself have, read a lot of it, and I still think about it sometimes,
Yes.
But as far as, being effective, it was like I told you with the deontological ethics guys. Remember I told you that story?
You think they would be good people, but they're dicks.
Yeah, I knew these guys when I first, kind of like Isis was saying about how he kicked around a little bit. When I first went to college, I was going to be a writer. Didn't want to get a degree in English because that's about as fucking worthless as communication. So I went into the humanities, which was a lot of philosophy. And one of the reasons I left was because I knew these guys, and they were graduate candidates, and their specialty was deontological ethics, and they were absolute cocksuckers. I mean, you figure, that if they're working on deontological ethics, if anybody can apply that shit, it would have been those guys, and they couldn't. So at that point, and they were all unemployed. I mean, they were getting ready to work at coffee shops and shit. So I got out of there. But yeah, that kind of gave me, and I'm happy to be wrong, but it gave me the impression that philosophy wasn't that useful, frankly, that it wasn't really utilitarian.
The
But
reason
like I say, if somebody enjoys it as a hobby, sure, go for it. What was
Hey,
it?
watch out! Watch out! I'm married to a cocksucker.
You lucky bastard.
I
Just
was
kidding.
gonna say, like, the reason I want to learn philosophy is so I can get into Nadia's pants.
Oh my.
I want her to think I'm sexy.
You think that's the trick, dude?
Right. I mean, I'll be a big philosophy hero in her
Throw her a big
eye.
free sample, you know?
Philosophy hero.
Don't you think so? If I could just, totally sex myself up with philosophy and be a hero to her.
Would you like to be a hero to Nadia? I know that's a
Tell me
stupid
how,
question.
Tommy.
It's an honorable question, but it's a stupid question. But would you like to be?
First, I got to make money to get her out of that room.
Yeah.
I'll take that as a yes.
Yeah, I'd like to be a patron to Nadia.
Yes.
But, the thing is, she won't ever even notice me unless I know philosophy and can come back with her. She'll say something and I got to come back. I can't say, duh, I don't know what
I
you
just
said.
see a Rocky montage with Bunto learning
Yeah,
philosophy.
duh,
You know?
Adrian.
That's a common response to her.
Besides my kid being born, this is the greatest moment of my life. I love Rocky. Fuck.
The Russians are cheering for Bunto now.
Dude, I could do all that. I wish Green was here. Okay, Min, are you into philosophy?
Yeah, I'm really into philosophy. I've been
What
listening to
part?
you guys, and my opinion is so different than everyone's here that,
Go ahead and tell us, please.
well, I mean, whatever I say, I'm just going to be opening up a big can of worms. But
It's okay. It's okay.
We'd love to hear.
This is a place of love, man. This is a place of love.
It is. It is. You're safe here.
all right.
The
Well,
Russians are cheering for mine now.
No, really. I love it.
so you guys aren't anti-government, right?
Soleil the infidel.
Well, Jeff's not here. I'm
Jeffrey, yeah, Jeff's
I'm
anti-government.
pro-government. I
I
think
am
I'm
too.
pro-government.
United States, by God, America. I'm pro-America.
I'm
Yeah.
pro-America.
I'm
Yeah,
pro
I'm
North
really,
Korea. Shit.
I'm really
Go ahead,
anti-government.
buddy. You're not gonna. Nobody's gonna yell at you. Just go ahead and say what you want to say.
Well, no, I'm not like fearing that I'm gonna get like attacked or anything. I'm just saying that. Well, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I hate the government, and
Okay.
religion isn't
Okay.
anything good. I'm like I consider
Are you
myself
a libertarian?
I used to be a libertarian. Now I'm more like free market anarchism, like anarcho-capitalist.
Oh, we know one of them.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I see virtue in that. Yes.
And you guys were saying that, like, I've only been in Nadia's room once, but
Uh-huh.
you guys were saying she's into philosophy, and I don't think that at all. Like, I don't think you can be into philosophy and be religious. It's like,
Oh, sure you can, bro. Well, okay, but I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. Go ahead.
well, maybe we're using different definitions of philosophy. I'm a bit of a fan of Stefan Molyneux, but I think he has like a few views on certain things like women that I don't agree with. Like, I don't think that people should get married, and he's talked about how he supports marriage. But
All
other
right.
than that, I agree with his politics. And like the cult thing, I don't think it's a cult. I've never given money to him, and I'm not like obsessed with him or whatever, but I think he makes some good videos.
I can
Yeah.
empathize with this man. I don't like to be offensive. And oftentimes, shit, I can't hardly open my mouth with a view without it being, nerve grinding to somebody. And maybe that was the nature of his reluctance, was he just doesn't like to be offensive, maybe, or something. But anyway, excuse me.
I've watched a couple of that guy's videos. I don't really have any problem with it. I'm also aware that there are some controversial positions that he holds. Like if somebody disagrees with his position, he advocated what does he call it? Breaking ties with their family members. Or
Yeah.
something like that. And I know that's a controversy. I don't care. I mean, I don't care what kind of entertainment you like. That's fine. And as far as being a narco-capitalist, that's Mr. Jeff Keller. Yeah, he's
Our hero.
he's our hero.
We like
Oh,
Jeff.
Jeff's a
One
good
quick
guy.
question. One quick question, Midnight. How do you pronounce your name? Midnight Life or Midden or what?
Yeah, Mind Nightlife.
Mind. Okay, I'll call you Mind. Yes, Jeff Keller. He's a great talker.
Yep.
Okay, look, Mind. Do they need to know philosophy, or you like people that don't know anything about philosophy?
Oh,
Who?
wait a minute. Hold on. Let me just address that. Have you ever heard of a fellow named Peter Kreft by any chance, Mind?
No.
Okay, well, he's a theist, and he's a very good philosopher, actually. He's instructor at fucking Harvard or Yale or something. He published a lot of books. I actually like reading his books for their literary value. But he absolutely has a religious point of view. So.
How about Albert Camus?
Albert Camus, yes.
Oh, Camus, yeah. Mm-hmm. The
Bert
Plague,
Camus.
right? Yeah.
Albert Camus. Yep.
Yeah, I actually really liked The Plague.
The
How
Trial,
about you,
too.
Mr. Mind? Have you heard of Albert Camus?
No,
No.
that's Kafka. Sorry, Kafka. Sorry.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, Mind. So, you've been to a Nadia hangout. What did you think?
She was like, I think she's into like the New World Order or something like that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I'm not like, I don't know, maybe 2% of me believes that the New World Order is a real thing, but I just don't think I think that there are other topics that are worth focusing on.
God.
Did you find Nadia striking?
She was definitely different. I was definitely noticing that she's not behaving the way
Like, what was unusual?
her speech patterns. She would speak slower than normal, and I don't want to like say too much about it, but like maybe she's been damaged by drugs. I'm suspecting that, and I'm
like
not.
sluggish.
Yeah, something like that.
Low blood sugar.
Stuttering
Vodka.
can sometimes do that. Forms of stuttering, which is hemisphere contending, right and left hemisphere contending.
Okay. Did you actually talk to her?
Not really.
You didn't say hello. Did she talk to you? Did she say hi?
No.
Huh.
Wow.
Well, she's usually pretty, friendly to people that come in for the first time. She'll say something to them. Do you want to go back to a Nadia hangout?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No. Everyone in there was, well, I've only been in there once, and you guys have been describing what they've been talking about in there. Like, that's not matching up with what I heard them talking about. They were just talking about, like, anti-government, but from a conspiracy theory type of angle. And
They're trying to expand, rather than their philosophical.
I mean, her hangouts are fucking 8 hours long, and then there's another one after that. So they talk about they talk about a lot of shit in those hangouts.
4 in the morning, there it is.
Have you guys ever heard of the MGTOW movement?
Somebody was talking about that.
Yes.
I think Hades was talking about that recently.
What's that all about?
I don't know. Tell us, Mind.
Please.
It's about men who realize the nature of females and that they just use men to exploit them for resources. So
That's
the main thing is that they don't want to get married to women so that the women can divorce them and then use divorce courts to take their resources. They say stuff like 70 to 90% of divorces are initiated by women. So it's just like a losing game going after women. So some MGTOW people don't even have women in their life at all. They don't pursue women. They don't have anything to do with them. Other MGTOW, they date, but they don't get married.
Interesting. Okay, are you trying to go in that direction? Trying to go in that trajectory, Mind?
A lot of jerking off right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd maybe consider I would. I don't want to get married, and that's like the main thing. But I would like I'm friends with females.
My sister's the exception. If you meet her, try and see her as unique. She is an exception to that. Just kidding. Just trying to be funny.
I never got into the MGTOW thing. I just see it kind of as like a response to all this third wave feminism that's coming out, and it's just like it's an exact response to it. Guys feel that the matriarchy is affecting them just as bad as women feel the patriarchy is, and neither one of them understand that it's not us, it's someone else, and they fight over stupid shit. And I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this, Lyric. If I paid you $1 million, could you give up females for a year? Any contact?
Of course, $1 million. Yeah, I'd do that in a heartbeat.
I'll go 5K.
Yeah.
Great, dude. Give me a break for a week. I'll be good.
You'll pay.
No, really.
Married, yeah.
I mean,
married,
really.
man.
Could you or would you suffer within the first month or two? Because we're the females.
No, I'd get my thoughts would actually get probably collected. Wouldn't have to worry about because I'm married, so there's always someone else you got to worry about. But I don't know. I don't even think about it, to be honest.
Yeah, being married, everybody's genderless.
Okay, that's interesting.
Doesn't matter.
Does that make sense to you, Mind? If you're married, everybody's genderless, or would you still stick to the binary?
I don't understand that. I've never heard that put that way before.
Well, okay, was it like a symbiotic relationship, Tommy, between you and your mate?
Well, it's like I'm married, and now it's almost like I'm blind to gender. It's almost like it doesn't matter, or it's insignificant. And I see people as basically regardless of their gender, like their gender is a coat or something that people are very much the same, unique, every one of them, but it's almost they're people, or I see them regardless of their gender. It's like a pair of earrings or a hairdo, or
well, how about this? Gender is only skin deep.
yeah, kind of like that. And it's like if they're black or Chicano or male or female, it's like I'm not trying to fuck them, so it doesn't really matter. Or only if I have to give them extra politeness or extra respect, then their gender might come into play or something like that. Or
so, Mind, do you think these MGTOW people put overemphasis on the gender binary? From everything you've heard from Tommy.
I don't know how to answer that question. I see where you guys are sort of coming from. I would say that there's obvious differences between the behavior of male and females, regardless of if they're married or not. But I don't think you guys would necessarily disagree with that.
Pyong?
No, yeah, that's right. We're a sexually dimorphic species.
So what Tommy said didn't make sense.
No, Tommy's assertion was fine.
Okay.
Once you get a wife, the haze of hormones goes away, so you're able to see everyone as they really are. That's kind of how it is, like when you settle down with children and a wife, you see you don't notice the sex of the person as much. I'm with Tommy. I don't really care what sex you are. It doesn't affect me.
It's like they're all men.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's credible. Okay, so I've always had trouble with females. If I marry one, it'll start getting better.
I would think so.
Yeah.
What do you think, Lyrics? If I just give it one more try, the hetero.
One more try.
Knock yourself out, man. I don't know.
Well, you guys told me that it's only it's like
weird, man.
The hormones. I'm in a hormone cloud days. But once I marry them, it goes away, and I see them for who they are.
Well, differently, yes. Or
right. Pyong, you get along with females perfectly, right?
Well, not perfectly. I don't get along with anybody perfectly, but but yeah, I don't have any problem with the ladies.
I thought we were tight. Damn it.
Tommy says they turn into men after you marry them.
He didn't say they turn into fucking men.
Virtually, they might as well be a different strain of
sexless. There's no sex.
Full-fledged personhood. They're a different strain. Right. They're like I don't know how to describe it other than they're like a she-man.
Damn. Fuck.
She-Man.
Man, that sounds good to me. Okay, Pyong, what do you think? Does that
I'm not gonna
sound
be your She-Man,
interesting,
dude.
attractive to you?
What's that?
Does it sound interesting and attractive to you?
What?
You know, you hook up with a female and she just starts turning into a
Oh
she-male.
shit.
Nah.
Sorry.
Of course, that doesn't sound good to me.
Well, why doesn't it? What's wrong with that?
I mean,
I mean, it works for Tommy.
Don't
Yeah.
beat me up, baby.
I have an understanding of what he's talking about. I mean, I have lived with women, you know, and in monogamous relationships, obviously. But no, you know, I'm kind of done with that stuff. I mean, I had an interest in having a family, but a long time ago. That's all done. I'm not really even interested in that anymore. So I don't really.
Okay, mine, was the conversation intriguing or was it just sophomoric?
The conversation that just went on.
Well, either one. This one, I was thinking about the Nadia one, about the MGTOWs and all that, the New World Order.
Oh, I mean, I haven't heard those types of opinions in a while, so I guess it was interesting, but I wasn't too entertained. And if there was a better hangout, I would have went to it.
Okay. I was thinking about, you know, maybe it struck a nerve or a chord in there, and that's why they, you know, extrapolated upon it. You know, that was just surmising, just guessing. I mean, do you really care about gender issues, or you'd rather talk hard philosophy?
Well, yeah, I usually talk hard philosophy, but I don't think that the point about women turn into men in a certain way, like just as maybe they turn into your friend, as opposed to like a, not really sure how to explain it, but I mean, it was sort of interesting. I like talking about gender in general.
Are you for the gender binary, or do you want to get rid of it completely?
I don't really know what that means.
Unisex bathrooms, women in combat, men suckling babies, all the way to the claim that you don't care about a person's sexuality. It goes into like 500 sexualities. Pansexual, sapiosexual, hetero, homo. That's gender. Oh, you'll learn this when you go to a couple of Nadia hangouts. Well, hard philosophy is interesting to people like you, but to me it's sort of like, you know, sometimes talking about the gender binary, what she's eating, the way she's saying it. I can listen to her.
So
I think
you guys are
it's
saying
entertaining.
that you would have, you think that there's not a problem with having bathrooms that don't.
Oh no, I'm pretty much for. I see a lot of utility in the gender binary, but if you bring that up in her hangouts, you know, you're going to hear the other end of the argument. What do you? I mean, are you?
Vehemently.
How do you feel about it, mine? Are you for, you know, the gender binary? Or are you for, you know, keeping things the way they are, or do you want to have a
Well,
wider
I think
spectrum?
that women should be. Well, I'm against the military, but just as the world is right now, women should be able to join the military. I've heard that the strength tests are like lower for females, so I don't think that's right. I think there should just be a standard for men and women, and if the female bodies can't be in competition with the men, then they shouldn't be in it. You know, I don't think that the government should come in and give females like extra stuff.
Preferential treatment.
Yeah.
Do you know that since women were allowed in the military, that men's PT scores have actually been lowered as well due to that, due to the lowering? So, like 15 years ago, PT requirements were a lot higher than they were now,
So
just due to the addition of women.
So I don't believe in, like, I don't acknowledge stuff like Christmas and holidays and birthdays, because I sort of imagine that if another Earth like came into existence, they would have a whole set of other holidays, and if you were to go over there, like take a vacation to this Earth too, would you just conform to all of the traditions and cultures that they would do? Like when you go to, you know, if you go to China right now and you don't like bow, I'm assuming they'll take that as like like if you just start shaking hands, they'll be like, you're not you're not what's the word? You're not conforming to their culture. I think culture, whatever culture is, I think that's like really bad, and people should stop putting value in culture and tradition. So in that sense, I think that a lot of things that are gender, like I don't think colors should be associated with genders. Like I think pink could just be a color regardless of gender. It doesn't have to be a female thing. So in that sense, I think that a lot of the stuff with gender narratives right now is not right, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, what are incorrect gender narratives?
I don't know, like with the bathroom thing, I'm not
Okay.
sure. If we were living in a world where there were no bathrooms for each gender and it was just open, I think that we would just get used to it and just like nudism.
Okay. How about this? Is there a specific role that a female possesses in our society? Do you believe that, or is it open for any gender?
Well, females, if you get like you guys were saying that once you get married, you sort of become genderless, or at least one person was saying that. And when married men get together, they talk about like mechanical stuff, like sports and games and all that, and maybe philosophy. And when women get together, they talk about like gossip and they definitely don't talk about the same stuff that men talk about. So I do think that there are like some definite differences. Like in the field of science, there's not many females, and I think the male brain just works better at certain things.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd agree with that. I mean, I went my undergraduate degrees in mechanical engineering, and there were women in my classes, of course, and they did fine, you know.
Yeah,
I
maybe
mean,
that's
and they
not a good example of the mechanical engineer. I don't know a lot about college, and like I was just talking to somebody, and they were an architect, and they asked them if there's a lot of women, and there were. So it must be just certain careers, but I definitely know that
well, that's a STEM career. I mean,
there are definitely certain careers where they're dominated by men, and other ones are dominated by women.
yeah,
Mine.
I
Okay.
understand that there are different, numbers of, the genders in different jobs, but I think that that is kind of a thing of the past. I think that the statistics that includes have, way back to the 60s, where the job market and the environment was far different. I had women in my classes. Yeah, they were fine. I don't think their brains worked a different way than mine did. One of my favorite instructors was a woman, so I just don't think that's true.
Well, I do know that if I'm at the hospital, for some reason I feel more secure if my nurse is female. I don't necessarily know that if like I don't really care, and I know that there's a
Right.
lot of male females, but for me, I feel more secure knowing my nurse is female.
Do you ever come down that way, mind that you want your women to be women and your males to be males? I mean, if you align yourself with these MGTOWs.
Maybe rephrase that question.
Okay. Don't the MGTOWs have to rely upon the gender binary?
I guess so. Like maybe.
I mean, there could never be a female MGTOW, could there?
No, there could. Well, no.
See what I mean? So they do have to rely upon the binary, the gender binary.
Yeah.
So I mean, can't you sort of see? It's like people have presented certain aspects that sort of show you that the gender binary isn't as expansive as they're led to believe, as the MGTOWs would lead you to believe. I mean, in careers and capabilities and partnerships. I mean, would you ever approach the MGTOWs and offer them, these sort of views? Have you
I'm
thought
not
about
really
that yet?
I'm not really sure what significance, like the whole argument you're putting forth. I'm not really sure how that's like too significant. I mean, the gender binaries right now like do exist, and they're not going to go away anytime soon. So I'm
Right.
not sure what I'd be able to say to the MGTOW people to get them to think any differently.
Well, I mean, not so much that you address them, but just that, what you see is so attractive in that position.
What who sees? What?
Didn't you say you found that position attractive, the MGTOWs?
Like you're saying that am I into the idea of not getting married or whatever?
Yes. Do you find the MGTOW position attractive?
I think it's a bit silly. Like when I first heard the word that the guys were calling themselves MGTOW, I'm like, oh, okay, you're just putting a word on, you're just adding like a new like label that almost doesn't need to exist. But I do think that I think it's good for marketing purposes to have the name MGTOW, but it's a bit silly. Just like atheist. Like I don't want to go around being like, I'm an atheist, but like I think that not believing in God is like a good thing.
Okay.
It's like rational.
You want to sort of like, not, what would you say, like demythify, these things like atheism, de-heroics. That's what I'm trying to think about. Things, get rid of the slogans. You want to get rid of the jingo.
Yeah, I guess so. It's not really like a big point. I'm not like anti-labels. It's just, like I consider myself a skeptic, but when
Right.
people hear skeptic, they think, they just think a bunch of things. So
Get rid of the glamour, right? Just get rid of the glamour.
just get down to what the definitions of the words actually are.
Anyone?
You guys were, I'm not sure who it was. It might have been the guy with the fox picture.
Mm-hmm.
Sokka.
Yes. Ooh.
Yeah, so he brought up a clip, and some guy was saying that concepts don't exist, therefore reality doesn't exist, or whatever. And I don't know if you guys like are really taking that seriously. Like you guys were saying, I don't know if I could even talk to this guy, and maybe the guy is like pretty crazy, but that's not too crazy of a thing to say. Like he's probably half joking. Like obviously he walks around and he makes decisions, so he can't be taking it too seriously. If he really didn't think it didn't exist, then there'd be no point in making any actions in life. So it's almost like he's just doing like a play on words or a philosophical game.
You'll be surprised.
Yeah, he's probably a straight up fucking retard.
Very
I mean,
zealous.
it depends on how you define the word like existence.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're talking about. You can look at it from like a Sartre point of view, or you could talk to solipsism. Absolutely, you're absolutely right about that from an ontological point of view. However, the guy is probably a straight up fucking retard.
Yeah, totally could happen.
Because Sokka, he's pretty balanced. He does love his philosophy, but he's pretty balanced, and I think he gives everybody a shot. And so if he was in here saying what he said about him, then the guy's probably a retard.
Yeah, he seems like arguing for arguing's sake. It's regardless of what actual logic he employs or the actual philosophy that he employs. It's pointless. He's just disagreeable and it seems like to me.
I apologize for using the word retard too. I know that's offensive, probably.
Thank you. My wife's a bit retarded. I appreciate your apology.
Oh my god.
No, it has been a great hangout, guys, but I think we're going to cap it for the night. I'd like to invite all our listeners to have a happy Super Bowl weekend and party hardy. Take care, y'all.